backs turn. Origi turn, shoots.
Build the dream in FIFA 20, pay less and get more, and use the code TVM at checkout for a bigger discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to the road to glory. The gameplay in the background is going to be Rivals gameplay of me doing the Italian League first owner objectives. So I've got 7 players in the team that are first owner, Mertens being one of them. I've squeezed Insigne in there, obviously for, well, he fits chemistry reasons. We bought him yesterday for the main team. I've got Julian Brandt and Schultz in there, and everyone else is first owner Italian League. And it all seems to work chem-wise, so kind of happy about that. I think it was only win 3 games with 7 first owner Italians in the starting 11. And there is another objective as well, where you need to win 3 rival games using an 83 rated squad or above. And I'm knocking both of those out at the same time. And both 83 rated and the Italian League first owner. This gameplay, by the way, is all on the update, the new patch. I'm not sure when console get it. Maybe you've got it already. I don't know. But what I do know is that I feel a little bit better playing on it. It seems to have just eked out a lot of the aids. Like, for instance, passes are actually quite crisp. Something I did an update video yesterday, and something that you notice more and more as you keep playing is that the passes are a lot more, snappy. When you press A, it actually passes the ball. Whereas before, I didn't notice how bad it was when you were pressing A and sometimes nothing was happening. And obviously I knew the problem existed, and I've mentioned it before several times about delay, but I didn't realise how bad it was on the passing. I thought it was mainly focused on the shooting. Turns out it was really bad on the passing. So if you haven't had the update yet, look forward to it, because honestly, in my opinion, it makes the game far more enjoyable to play. I know there'll be people out there who still complain about the game and, it's still a bag of mess and shocking gameplay. FIFA 19 was better, bring back FIFA 12 and all the rest of it. But I really enjoy the game, and from time to time you will hear me bitch and moan about it and how I don't like this and I don't like that, if they fix this, if they fix that. But ultimately, this is one of the best FIFAs I've played in years, and not everyone's gonna have the same opinion, but just to know, or just so that you know, I really like it. What I don't like though is this. He's red timed that free kick. What spin on, Jimmy? What happens next? So he's red timed it and he scores. I thought timing a shot was like this brand new skill gap thing where it's literally 1 frame to time it, and then 2 or 3 frames either side is a mistime, and then 2 or 3 frames aside of that is literally red, and it's going to go like just... He must have aimed it to the corner flag, hit it in the red, and it went top bins. I didn't really mind too much because it was only Rivals, but if that was Weekend League, I think I would have been a little bit more livid that he'd red-timed a free kick and still scored. Austin says, if you don't like the team, then stop complaining. But no, he doesn't say that. He says, if you don't like the team, go back to your previous formation, but get Ousmane Dembele and Semedo and rebuy Coutinho now that he's cheap. My initial plan, by the way... Oh, and this is another thing. I meant to pass there, and it went somewhere else. Who is that even going to? Like, there's no one there. And then, of course, he scores from that error. So, passes are still a little bit oh dear. But apart from that, honestly, I still really do enjoy the game. You'll get things like that in every game where you're like, oh, what the hell happened there? But you still turn around and go, do you know what? Doesn't matter, because I still enjoyed myself. So... Dembele and Semedo were actually the 2 candidates before I got Bernardo Silva and Cancelo, incidentally. But the reason that I went with Cancelo and Bernardo Silva as opposed to Dembele and Semedo is because Semedo got himself the inform. And obviously that means that he went stupidly expensive. And I couldn't justify spending 50, 60,000 coins on an 82 rated card. So that was the only reason why I did it. At the moment, though, Insigne and Mertens up top together are... proving to be a bit of a force. I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I played 2 off camera, I think, maybe 3 off camera, and Insigne and Mertens helped me in all those games to basically only lose 1. I think the one loss that I took with that guy red-timed a free kick was the only defeat I took yesterday. I feel like I'm playing relatively well, and like I said, Mertens is glorious. Insigne is really fast. What I really want, and what I'm going to need to get, is actually an insane super sub. The more I think about it, the more JJ Okocha could be that super sub. The more I think about Guardiola, the more I keep thinking to myself, do you know what? He's a good card, and I wouldn't mind having him. He'd be nice for Chem. But do I really need him? People were saying yesterday about how Axel Witsel would be better than Guardiola. And, the more I think about it, the more I agree. And, of course, he's tradable, so we can sell him on in the future, maybe upgrade our CDM. Because I think our CDM is a very important part of the team. And Guardiola's only really going to be there for about 25 days until we decide, you know what, we need to upgrade him now because he's not good enough anymore. So, the David says, great to see you are going for Dybala, Insigne and Mertens. Coincidentally, sold mine today because it gets a bit repetitive to keep the same attack for 2 weeks. I 100% agree with you. I think this year in particular, I will be alternating. And that's one of the reasons why I want to stay as liquid as possible. What a banger that is, by the way. Although we did still pick up the victory, luckily, because I would have been a bit annoyed if I'd lost that game. I was all over him for the most part anyway. You're going to see me claim 2... icon objective tokens here as well. Just made that term up, don't know if that's what they're called, but yeah, we're going to pick 2 of them up for the objective that I said at the beginning. Yeah, I want to stay liquid this year because I really want to alternate between teams. Like this year already, I've decided, I'm going to get Bernardo Silva and Cancelo, and after one weekend league, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get rid of them now because I'm not a big fan. If it was last year, I probably would have stayed with them, and I probably would have had the Walcott flashback already. I probably would have done Peace Check as well, and I'd already be pigeonholed into keeping a Kanji and probably Berkey, and then I'd have to go Premier League to incorporate Walcott. So yeah, I'm glad I've not done that this year. This is a squad battles game, by the way, on Legendary, and since the update they have apparently fixed AI and made it a lot harder on Legendary to score goals, to get past the defence, to just generally play against, right? Now, the opponent that I'm playing here is an extremely easy, more or less full bronze squad, and it is like 1 or 2 goal players in it. But I have never found it so easy to score 5 goals against the AI on Legendary than I have against this team. Now, it might be down. I've only played 1 game, so it might be down to the fact that the team is horrendous. He has got a goalkeeper in goal. It's not like a left back or something like that. But it's a bronze keeper. And like I said, he's only really got 1 or 2 goals. So I'm going to reserve judgment on it, but I don't think I've ever scored 5 goals that fast. And I was messing around with the finishing as well. I was trying like little finesse shots near post and stuff. Picked up 2,500. The game finished, I think, 6-0. Or maybe even 5-0. I don't even know what it was. But either way, that was a very simple game. So at the moment, for me, I don't think they've changed anything to do with the defending. So as I load into Ultimate Team for the first time today, we've got a couple of things to talk about that I've not mentioned recently, and obviously we've already talked about the David's comment, who is a channel member. Another channel member, LDQV, says, been watching/listening to this Road to Glory from episode 1 over the past couple of days. Been enjoying it. Enjoying it a lot, so thought I'd sub and join. Keep making the great content. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you and everyone else. And of course, if you are a channel member, you get a little icon next to your name. The longer you remain a channel member, you will get different colour icons next to your name. And if you are 12, then that might interest you. I'm not having a dig at channel members. It's just those little things crack me up when people... Like, I do it myself, right? If I'm subbed to a channel on Twitch or something, I want the next rank, even though it means absolutely nothing. And I don't know why I want it, but I do. So, yeah, there's that. You might not see it unless you're on the new Studio Beta comment system thing. They will update it all in the future, but I can see the 2 icons next to your name. Daniel Cooper, before we get into some SBC says, this may be a really stupid question, but what type of controller do you use when you play on PC? I've never played games on PC. Is it like a PS4/Xbox controller? You can use whatever controller you want. If you have Bluetooth on your PC, then you can use a PlayStation 4 controller, I believe. If you have a wireless dongle thing, you can connect an Xbox 360 controller to it, which is exactly what I use. Or you can, I'm not sure how you do it, and I'm not sure if they use Bluetooth. I don't think they use Bluetooth, do they? You can use an Xbox One controller, but I'm not sure how you would connect that. You could do it wired, obviously, just plug it in via USB. I've done that in the past. I like the Xbox One controller, but I prefer the Xbox 360 controller. It's more rounded, and I just prefer it. I don't know, I prefer the triggers on it, the bumpers and everything. It's just a better controller in my opinion. This is, in my opinion, this is the perfect controller. No company has ever made a controller as good as this. The only thing that I can think of that even comes close to this is the N64 controller, because not now, because it would be awful now, but when they first brought that controller out, it was innovative. It was like no one had ever done anything like that before. I believe it was the first joystick controller. And I remember getting it and thinking, wow, this is weird. But obviously now, it's like, oh, it needs another joystick. It doesn't have enough. But it was brilliant. The trigger behind the handle in the middle was fantastic. That controller was phenomenal. Let's go to SBCs. I also made a mistake in yesterday's video. In fact, I think I made a mistake in the actual update video that I talked about, where I'm talking about degrees. And Matt has pointed it out and says 180 degrees drag back, 180 degrees drag back is when you're facing one way and then drag it back the opposite way. What I was saying was it was a 360, and I don't know why I said it, because I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. A 360 obviously is, you start here and you're facing that way, and then you go all the way around and you're facing the same way. That's a 360, right? 360 no scope, yeah, you get it. 180, obviously half that is where you're going back. 90 degree would be half that again, which would be the left or the right exit. I don't know why I did it. I think what I'm saying, like I said, I'm stupid, right? But what I put it down to, and you'll notice it a lot. In fact, in yesterday's video where I'm talking about the update, I actually do the same thing. I make a mistake where I say something that is not what I want to say. I don't notice I've just said it, and I carry on. And then when I'm editing, I'm listening to myself thinking, hang on a minute, what are you talking about? I say, oh, I'm on drop back. And I'm not on drop back. I'm on 5 depth balanced. And for some reason, I was like, oh, when I play drop back, it's like, I didn't mean to say that, but I didn't even notice I'd said it. So when you're commentating and you're just saying words, you know, you can't think about them before you say them. They're just falling out of your mouth. I think that's probably what happened. But not like I said, I am stupid. So let's just leave it and pretend it never happened. They released Bastian Schweinsteiger yesterday, and he's now got a dynamic image. Oh, I'm doing that straight away. It's expensive. The only problem that I have with this is that it's a good card, and I want it. But I'm not going to do it because it's far too expensive. This is, what, 225, 250? Something like that, which is, for that card, worth it, but then the league is not worth it. And that sounds really stupid, but the only reason I'm not doing this card is because of the league. If this was a Bundesliga card and it was still 385 rated squads, I would be 95% sure that I would do it, because it's a card that you would, honestly, you could keep in your team till the end of FIFA 20. Yes, okay, his acceleration, his sprint speed, little bit irritating. His agility isn't great and his balance is the same. But if you just use him as an out-and-out CDM, give him a shadow so you can boost the acceleration, boost the sprint speed, the defensive stats go through the roof, you've then got a card you can just slot in that CDM role, tend to drop between the defenders, and bang. Great card, end of the year stuff. The problem that I've got with it is because of his league, I'm not always going to be Bundesliga. I'm not always going to have Germans from the Bundesliga. So it will make it incredibly difficult to fit into teams. So that's why I'm not doing it. And it's such a shame. If it was 285s, I could convince myself to do it, because right now he would fit and I could force him in somehow or another. But unfortunately, I'm not doing it. There is another card here that I'm very tempted to do, and it is, of course, Carlos Vela. Now, this card is decent. It's not amazing, but for right now, at least, it's a very good card. You know, in a month or two, it might be like, it's not that great anymore. But I was saying how I wanted really good super subs. And, well, if I wasn't saying that, I was thinking it anyway, earlier in the video. And what better super sub than this, right? He's only an 83 rated team. We have the cards in the club to do it already. If I don't want to use first owner cards, I can go and buy them, and it won't cost me more than, what, 20, 25k. So I'm going to do it. I am going to do this right now. As a super sub, that card could be brilliant. The other good thing about it is, of course, it'll be a first owner MLS card. And if EA are hell-bent on doing these first owner challenges, which, by the way, I love, then we'll have a nice first owner card. Do you know what I really like about it? And we'll do it right now as I talk through what I like about it. Oh, look, I've started. The problem with this is I'm going to use my MLS player, but then again, I don't really care, do I? Because I'm going to get a better one back. The inform is actually the first owner inform. I don't really want to be giving it up because he's first owner, but then at the same time, I don't really care. I think what I want to do, though, is I want to go buy the cards. I don't want to use what I have in the club already. So, for instance, Canales is first owner. I'll want him for the Spanish objective, because that's a decent card, right? So, what I want to do... Can I clear this? Is there a way to clear that? No, no, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Let me just get rid of these. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to the French League, because they have the cheapest cards available. I think I'm going to use Cresswell. As much as I don't want to, I think I'm going to use Cresswell. I don't mind about using Dhir, and I don't mind about using Mandzukic, because I've done the Italian objective right now. I don't need it immediately. In the future, I might need it, but for right now, I'll be happy to use it, and then hopefully we can pack them as we go again. But what I want to do here is go and buy a few players from the French League. So what I love about the first owner objectives is that it forces you to use different teams and players and so on and so forth, but it also forces you to just build teams and keep them there, because you will need them in the future. Yeah, okay, fair enough. We're going to need... let's go and get 3 of the midfielders that I know I'm going to need that aren't going to cost the earth. Oh, they've gone up in price. Brilliant. We could probably get him for about 2.5k. It's going to be him, Sarabia, and Draxler. Draxler might be a little bit more expensive now that he's obviously German, and that's one of the requirements for the Schweinsteiger thing. But anyway, what I want is to have I want to have a team for each league, and it's all first owner. I'd love that. I think that would be brilliant. So if I'd have my, I've got my first owner Italian league side, I've got my first owner Bundesliga, and so on and so forth for the top 5 leagues. The only problem with it is, of course, that if EA don't really do too much with this first owner stuff, and we only get it every now and again, it might be a bit like, oh well, we've got all this for nothing. But the way I was thinking about it yesterday, such a cheap card. It's not even a bad card. That's a decent card. Like 1 inform, which he should have already, by the way, and that's a good card. Anyway, let's move on. Got our 83s. I'm going to go buy a Cardi, I think, which is going to cost me about 10k maximum. Might actually cost me, yeah, there you go. So about 9k, 85 rated, not too bad. Obviously, we get the links into Draxler and stuff like that. So 9-1 is the cheapest. Don't mind if I do. I don't mind spending money on a card that I know is going to be helpful to me. Vela off the bench is going to be a good card, and he's going to help me for a while. Even in a couple of months' time, coming off the bench, he's not going to be a bad card. His weak foot does annoy me, and it was one of the biggest complaints that I had when I actually reviewed it. But I still think that it's good enough. So yeah, I would love to have loads of different teams first owner. And when I was thinking about it yesterday, I was thinking, what I want to do is just open when we get the packs. Don't sell anything unless it's like, for instance, if I'd packed Cavani, maybe Cavani's a bad example. Look how many good players we have here, by the way, in the French league. Maybe Cavani's a bad example, but if we packed, for instance, I don't know, like a Neymar or something, overkill, but sell him and keep the money. But then when we pack Icardi and we pack Sarabia, we pack Draxler and so on and so forth, we keep those players because they aren't worth that much money. So we keep them for our first owner squads and we sell the ones that are expensive. So if we ever pack anything that's sort of mid-tier, not really worth a lot of money, but could be decent for a first owner, yeah, just keep it, just stockpile the club, get as many players in as you can, but you sell your expensive items. Anything worth 25, 30k and above, you sell it on, unless of course it's someone like Mertens, which we're obviously going to try and use in our team. So with a swift purchase of Gianluigi Buffon, we have managed to complete the Carlos Vela SBC. It was a little bit easier than I thought it was. I was overthinking it, really. So we're going to have to say goodbye to Cresswell. We've just bought the 2 PSG players there, and of course Icardi. I did buy Sarabia. Turns out we didn't actually need him. I thought 3 PSG players across the middle would give us that chemistry, but because we had to fit in an MLS player, an inform, and Edin Dzeko, obviously it works out that we didn't need him. In terms of other informs I could have used, obviously we've got Radecki in our main team, don't want to do that. He's alone. The red picks don't count as informs. annoyingly. Once to watch is the same. Thuram is worth about 25k, so that's pointless. And that's it. You know, we don't have anyone else we can use. Incidentally, we've got 5 of those icon tokens now, if you were wondering. We can submit that away, though. That is bang on chemistry and rating. We can't change anything about it, otherwise it goes down. Saying that, can I get away with keeping it so? I can, so we can change something. What are you lying to me for? If I put Cragno in there instead of Buffon, it does go down. But yeah, we'll do that then. We'll just get rid of Musacchio instead of Itzo, just because why not? And there it is. Carlos Vela is now a part of the team. Martinez disappears from my MLS squad that I was using to do the squad battles objectives. However, we now have Carlos Vela to replace him, so I'm not going to complain about that at all. So tonight we should have done the MLS objective, and we'll be able to do that with Carlos Vela as we watch him walk out. He'll never get into the first team. Not that I'm saying he's not good enough, it's just that we're never going to get him in there for Chem. And I don't want to try and get him in there for Chem. And if there was a fix I'd wish EA would have done, it would have been the dynamic image on the card as you walk out. I don't understand why they've not fixed that. That is the simplest fix ever. Just make it bigger. That's all you need to do. Just make it big. Make it fit to card. Just right-click, fit to card, job done. It's not that simple, but it's not far off, is it? There we go, Carlos Vela, Ink Club. And it's not one of those SBCs that I've done and I'll forget about and we'll never use him, obviously. We are going to put him straight in fact, because this is the team I've been playing with. I've only just realised I've got a silver goalkeeper. This is the team that I've been playing with on Legendary against the AI. We've picked up, I'll have double check to see how many we've got. Is it 2 or 3 we've done so far? There he is, there's the man, bang. So that team is now, again, I've got it's not that you don't need first owners for this, but just in case in the future we do, we have one now. I didn't do Martinez, and of course Feinsteiger's too expensive, but at least we've got one decent MLS first owner. And I tell you what, Pavon is brilliant. This card is great. Really, really enjoy this card. Super, super cheap. His composure will obviously let him down if he was to play online, but against the AI, I don't really feel it to be a problem. Relatively good balance, very good agility, very quick, very good on the ball in general, really. Just before we end today's episode, let's have a look to see where we are with that objective, incidentally. MLS, we've done 2. So I get to play 3 games with Carlos Vela in the starting squad. That one I'm not looking forward to because the CSL first owner cards that I have are awful. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. We've only managed to score 6 goals with first owner players in Rivals so far. I will get that done over time. The online, of course, we do have Premier League, which I've built the team for, by the way. French League, La Liga and Bundesliga. You'd think Bundesliga would be the easiest one to do, given that we have a Bundesliga team. You'd be wrong, because I actually don't have that many, if any at all, first owner Bundesliga players. All the players that I have for that are actually bought. Let me just show you the Premier League team very briefly. Not that it's a good team or anything, but is it this one? Yeah, so that's my team. That's my Premier League team that I'm going to take into Rivals. Don't know what day it is today. Tuesday. I don't know when I'll play with it, but I will. I can put Vela on the bench now, actually. I don't know when I'll start using it, but I will obviously take that's the team that we're going to take into Rivals to try and get the win. You need 7 first owner Premier League players. Obviously, we've got 7 in there. I think I've got 8 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think all the Premier League players are first owner. I may look to change Madison. I might go buy someone a bit different. He doesn't really have that zip. I know I can make subs, but I'd rather just have a team that I know I can play with right off the bat. But Julian Brandt right now is my saviour. I love that guy. I try and force him into every team that I have. He's brilliant. But with that being said, that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode. Tomorrow is Pack Day, the best day of the week before we go back into the worst day of the week, which is a Friday, and we have to start the grind all over again with Weekend League. But tomorrow we are going to take untradables from rank 2, so we'll have double the amount of packs we normally have. Of course, we finish gold 2, so we get that extra choice of player. We don't get an extra pick, but we get an extra choice in the 2 picks. And of course, we get those 255Ks and the coins and all the rest of it to go with it. If EA release any SBC tonight, I will complete that and we'll have that to open tomorrow as well. So, exciting times. Hopefully, we can pack Ronaldo twice. 1 tradable, 1 untradeable. And then we can call it a day on the road to glory, and we'll go do a career mode. Can you imagine? No, neither can I. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.